We make countless decisions every day, and most of them we make pretty quickly and automatically, like when we choose which street to take to the store or when we decide what's the best time to call a friend. But the bigger and more important decisions, they take more time and attention. They take more because their consequences will affect our lives in big ways, like when deciding to take a job or not, or which person to marry. When making these types of decisions, we often find ourselves torn between options. We can see our choices usually, but we're not sure which is the best choice, meaning which choice will turn out the best for us. Our inability to clearly see the future results of any choice causes us uncertainty, and uncertainty is a very uncomfortable feeling for us human beings. So we spend a lot of time and emotional energy and suffering as we sometimes agonize over major decisions. Now, some people even freeze in this type of situation. They're not even able to make a choice. But making important decisions is a piece of life's puzzle that all of us have to deal with in one way or another. Now, there are no surefire ways to be sure we make all the best decisions. But there are some best practices we can use to increase the probability that our choices will be better. Something that can help in this regard is to follow what I like to call the head, heart, and gut rule, or the analyze, feel, and intuit rule. Now, this idea is based on the assumption that all aspects of the human being contribute to achieving wisdom, which is what enables us to make good choices. The head, heart, and gut rule can be a guideline in helping someone bring all their human faculties to bear when facing difficult choices. We can talk about each of these wisdom centers, as I like to call them, separately. When making decisions, we usually think of the role of the head center, the rational, logical, analytical part of us. This is what helps us identify the options we have in any situation and what the likely consequences will be with any choice we might make. Now, our past experiences are valuable guides in this. Every choice has consequences, and we need to be willing to accept the possible consequences of any choice. Otherwise, a different choice will be better for us. The head center is invaluable for this. Now, some people have the idea that we should rely on the head center primarily, or even solely, for our decision making. Often people say not to let your emotions get in the way of decisions. But as valuable as rationality and logic are, they can be cold, heartless taskmasters. For example, fight fire with fire is a piece of logic with which we can make choices. Using this logic alone, however, can lead to things like revenge, war, capital punishment, just to name a few problematic consequences. Without the counterbalancing effect of the heart center, the head center can lead us to disaster. Now, the heart center brings into play human emotion when making decisions, including the all-important feeling of compassion. This aspect of wisdom takes into account the effects one's choices have on others. The heart center asks questions like, which choice brings about the greater good? Rather than automatically choosing the most expedient, cost-effective, and logical option. Our culture tends to resist taking into account the heart center because it involves more time, more work, and more research and resources than simply going with the head center's cut and dried options. It's messier to bring in the heart center when making decisions, but it needs to be part of any wise decision. Now, referring only to the heart center in making decisions can be harmful too. For example, the emotion of fear can paralyze a person and prevent making needed choices. The head center can help determine if the fear is real or imagined, so it has to be brought into play also. And likewise, the feeling of caring for someone can turn into detrimental enabling and codependence if it's not informed by the logic of what is actually best for the loved one. The head center needs to be involved also. Now, the gut center deals with gut feelings or intuition. We human beings gather information in ways that are more subtle than rational thoughts or emotions. For example, we communicate with body language, even if we aren't conscious that we're doing it. Describing what we know through intuition is difficult. So our culture tends to mistrust this source of wisdom. But this is the level on which the Spirit probably operates the most in us, moving us towards the right decisions. It can give us that unexplainable gut feeling when something just isn't right, or when it is just right. As with the head center and the heart center, it isn't good to rely only on intuition to make good decisions. But it can be a good warning sign that we might need to explore a particular choice more in detail, give it more research, more time to make the decision. Again, there are no foolproof ways to always make the best choices. But if we tap into all of our wisdom centers, the head, the heart, and the gut, it's our best shot at making the best and most loving decisions possible.